Right now, I have to stop saying.
Coming up on the DLLS Stars Podcast, boy, do we have a show for you today. Stars defenseman Lian Bichsel will join us remotely to talk about the Western Conference Final, which starts tomorrow between the Stars and the Edmonton Oilers. We continue our preview, and of course, Sam reports from practice today with lots of official media and even sandwiches and cookies right now on DLLS.
Get ready, boys.
This is the DLLS Stars Podcast. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage is brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy responsibly. And by Happiest Hour, your home base and the best place to catch the NHL playoffs and cheer on the Dallas Stars, just steps away from the AAC. Ultimate spot with 50-plus beers and 40-plus TVs for all the big moments every single game day. Happiest Hour, your favorite spot for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Welcome inside our podcast studio here at DLLS alongside Craig Ludwig and Sam Nestler, and of course, our producer, John Andersen, who is currently celebrating his general manager being extended for 2 more years.
Ugh.
I'm Owen Newkirk.
Our general manager? Horrible.
His
Sweeney.
Horrible.
Don Sweeney.
I thought you'd be happy about
Imagine
that.
just not doing your job and then them wanting to keep you around for years in the
Yeah,
future.
but they like him upstairs. That's a big difference.
Yeah, because
They
he
like him.
does whatever
They
Cam
like
says. And they've
Sweens
got a
and
couple
Cam
years
are
of-
buddies.
Yeah, I figured that out real quick.
Boy, do
I
we have
got
some
your
fun.
back, you got mine.
They're going to bring back Mitchell Miller, too, next.
I knew that would get John going.
3-year
in.
extension for Mitchell Miller, huh?
All you have to do is dangle the carrot, and he was ready to take that one and run with it. We have a big show today. Lian Bichsel will join us at 2:30 as the rookie who just had a birthday.
That is going to be a big show.
Oh, it's a big. I mean,
That's
it's
a
the
big
tallest show, right?
Heyo. Nice.
Big show.
So we can't wait to hear from Lian at 2:30. And of course, Sam and I were at the AAC today. They had official day before Western Conference Final media availability with podiums for General Manager Jim Nill, Head Coach Pete DeBoer, Jamie Benn, Jake Oettinger, and Miro Heiskanen and Mikko Rantanen all took turns up there. And then, of course, guys in the room. And so lots of things to talk about, some looks at what the Stars might do with lines and all that. But right now, we have to continue our preview because, of course, tomorrow we have a pregame show in Game 1 against the Edmonton Oilers. Luds, I wanted to turn to you before we talk about goaltending because you had pages of copious notes yesterday, and we only had time for some of it. You were specifically looking at the even strength 5-on-5 play and some of their depth, and we'll get into their line combinations and some stuff in our next segment. But is there anything in particular that we didn't get to yesterday that you wanted to highlight for our viewers today?
No, it was, to me, it was about just when you look at how Dallas has gone about a business. More importantly, it's about Jake Oettinger and Mikko. I think those two guys are predominantly what's carried this club to where they are at today. And you know, when you look at what they have or haven't done 5-on-5, it's good news that they're through the second round. And hopefully the better news is the 5-on-5 game from, again, guys like Marchment, Duchesne, Sagan, but let's say Tyler Sagan made a pretty important play to Harley. That you can pick. Again, there's just little things that they all seem to be doing. And the reason I bring that up is because this is all good news because they're not all running on all cylinders. Robo, again, you had mentioned how Robo looks better. Well,
and you accused me of being an absolute Robertson apologist yesterday.
Well, what Robo's going to look better to me when he starts hitting the score sheet because now you're going to need him. Because I think that this is a different opponent.
Right. Yeah.
It's a different opponent than what you've seen in the past, too. This is a different playoff team. I think it's a different playoff team. I'm talking about the Oilers. They're a different playoff team than they were when they went to the finals last year. They're riding a group of guys, and they're they're a physical team. Like, so this is not just watch Connor and Lian take over and get great goaltending, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I asked. I think I asked Jake today about that exact thing, because when you look at, if you're a fan that hasn't followed either of these teams, you look at the broad overlook, and it's obviously going to stand out, those two guys, number one, and then Jake. I think Jake's, 100 saves more than, or 100 shots against more than any other goalie in the playoffs. Like, there's some crazy stats and some numbers that you look at, but deeper down, I agree with Floods 100%. It's a much more structured team that doesn't just rely on two guys. What did you say? Like, their numbers were really good without McDavid and Draisaitl even on the ice.
Well, the last stat was, of the last 17 goals, 9 of those goals have been scored without those two guys on the ice. So it shows you exactly what you're talking about. There's more depth there. And when I say physical, and it's not like I think overall Winnipeg was probably, as a group, a more physical team.
Yeah.
But what they've done is, when you look at their 4 lines, which we don't even know how they're all going to play out as far as line combinations go, but as of now, in the last series, they've got one guy on each line, and it's the top 4 guys in hits. So they're taking their hit guys and they're spreading them out so that there's that element to the game for Edmonton. And what that also does is, when you have one guy on every line, generally it drags the other 2 guys into it. And so I just think they're going to be a little bit more. This is not just like I said, it's not just the 2-man show going on there anymore. And I think that's what they're probably most happy about. Plus, they got a couple extra days to heal up and things like that. And will that be too much? Maybe not.
And they did a really good job with that physicality. I think I mentioned it earlier in the series with Hyman and Kane. They picked the guys they were going to go after, and they went after them. Mm-hmm. And that's what not worry, but that's what I look to see in this series is, how many hits does Miro take? How many hits does Thomas Harley take? Because they are going to target those guys. And you can say that every year, every series, right? Every team's going to say that, but this team has proven it 2 straight rounds, and I think they're going to do it again, and that'll be something to watch.
And I don't think they've got their biggest, most dangerous element of their game working. That's their power play. It's not. Connor McDavid has 17 points through the playoffs. 1 point on the power play.
That's pretty good for not having a lot on the man advantage. Yeah.
If you don't think that over the last couple of days or 3 or 4 days, they've been working on that part of their game. And, and again, but they're going to go up against the best penalty kill and the best goaltender.
And the best goalie. Well, that's a great segue, Luds. I want to compare some Jake Oettinger and Stuart Skinner notes, because the interesting thing is that Stuart Skinner wasn't very good to start this playoff run. But look at last year. And if on the left side of this graphic, you can see 2024 Western Conference Final. Obviously, the most important thing is the record. Skinner won 4 of 6. Oettinger won 2 of 6. But Jake's numbers weren't awful. But look at the improvement for Skinner, because if you look at the right of your screen, now this could almost be a carbon copy of the 24 first 2 rounds. These 2020, this is this year's first 2 rounds, except that Skinner played more games last year. In fact, in the first 2 rounds of last year, Skinner had played 10 games. He was 7-3. I know they had used both goalies at the time, but for the most part, he had an .881 save percentage and a goals against of .287. This year, you can see he's only played 5 games. He got absolutely torched by the LA Kings, lost his starting job to Calvin Pickard, and then Pickard got hurt in the second round against Vegas, and Skinner came back in, and he was a different goalie. In the second round, he won 2 of 3 games. The only one he lost was that last-second deflection, which was the only game Vegas won in the series. He had a .944 save percentage and 2 shutouts and 3 starts against the Golden Knights. So, Luds, as you look at all these numbers, like Jake's numbers are great. They're almost identical to last year's first 2 rounds. Last year, this is my whole point here. Going into the conference final, everybody was saying the Stars have a big advantage in goal, and it did not play out that way. Skinner outplayed Oettinger. The Stars' power play was non-existent. They did not score a power play goal in that series, and those were the 2 biggest problems. You can call me delusional if you think so, but I feel like Jake's trajectory into this conference final is different and better even than last year's with similar numbers. He feels like he is more of the reason why the Stars got to this point than at this stage last year. Do you agree or disagree?
Of course, yeah. I mean, everything that we just talked about. Like he, and again, I was concerned about it coming into the playoffs and as the team. I mean, it didn't end well in the regular season, which now it is proof it doesn't really mean anything.
Something you said at the end of the regular season.
And I said I hate it if you're not playing your game heading in. It's not like a light switch. We've heard that our whole careers. Well, apparently I'm wrong because again.
But isn't that only for a team that is experienced and veteran?
The team's not playing. When I say team, I mean the team that we see through patches of the season where they're clicking on all cylinders. I still don't think they're clicking. That's why I say that's a good thing for this to be going on right now. And when you talk about the two goalies, I would say that if there's going to be a crack in one of those two goalies in this round, I know which one it's not going to be. That's what I think. It's not going to be Jake. He just seems to me too dialed. And regardless, and this is a team that Edmonton is a team that can have one of those games where they put in 5-6 goals.
Yeah.
It can happen, but that will not rattle Jake. And I think that's more because of what he's gone through against Colorado. And that one time, and we could go back to that picture, and we did that in Colorado, or showed that like in Game 6 or something like that. That night that he got pulled, it was a mercy pull. Like the team did not play well in front of him. And when I
and he wasn't that bad.
Not at all. That's my point. Is I kept going back and looking at that picture to the next day, and that's why I had him put it up there. And like, there's a guy, and just in one picture, one shot of him sitting on the bench with his hat on, I felt like I saw. He goes, "This will never happen again." That's the way I look at that, and he's proven whether that's it or not. But he's shown that he is a rock. So if there is a guy that's going to get rattled, I believe it's going to be their guy, not this guy.
Sam, what's your assessment when you look at last year's goalie matchup between these two? Same guys, but 12 months later.
Yeah, I see a more confident Jake in all the ways Lud said, but also in just the way he's approaching everything. He just feels he truly knows that he is a key and has been a key, as Luz just said, to this playoff run so far. And Jim Nill said it today. He said he's barely even scratching the surface of his potential, which is scary to think of. What is he, 25? Or he's 26 now?
I think he's 26, but
so,
I'll look it up.
A 25, 26-year-old, and this guy's already been
through 26 in December.
Okay, so he's already been through the bubble run. He's been through playing that 2021 season with Hudobin. He's been through getting sent back down to the AHL. He's been through the the Calgary playoff series. He's been through when his team was overmatched. He's been through when his team was better, but they weren't playing well. It feels like, the old cliche of you have to lose to win. For him, it's almost like he's been through it all. So this just feels like the next step, honestly, to me. It feels like for Jake, he is going to make sure that if they lose this series, it's going to be because they didn't score enough on the other end, not because he allowed one or two extra goals that he shouldn't have.
Luds, you're emoting a reaction as Sam was finishing his point.
I wasn't listening to you.
Of course it wasn't.
But it just hit me. As you, I think you were. I don't even know what you were talking about.
He was talking about Jake.
No, when I was talking about Jake in that picture, and what I felt like I saw in his face, which I know everybody's going, "How the hell? What did you see in his face?" I've seen it before. I saw it in Patrick, and I saw it in Eddie. That's where I got it from. Is that I've seen those guys up close and personal to watch them the next day after one of those games at practice, the way they practice. But then I just. And for whatever reason, I always sat like next to the goalie, and so I remember looking at their mannerisms. I remember how you normally talk to them, and then on days like that, and those two guys, they inside their head, no mas, like there's no more of this, and that's I think that's the same. I wish I had pictures of that. I wish I had taken pictures and thought about it till 40 years later. But that's what I see. I thought when I maybe what I saw in that picture of Jake.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's useless information.
But I think it's something really because Sam was basically saying the same thing, which is
I wasn't listening.
He feels like Jake's at a point where he's comfortable knowing and confident knowing where he's at. Like he's got this, right? And which I don't know if he always felt that way. Obviously against the Calgary Flames back in that first round series in 22.
Yep.
He was great. But the team was clearly not as good as the Flames, and they lost in 7 in overtime. It was close.
That's part of confidence too, right? Is knowing that you have a team that's got the ability to score.
Yeah.
And whether they're not scoring, I think that's the other thing is even if they're not scoring through the course of games and they're low-scoring games, it's like, but we do score big goals.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because I was having a chat with Matt Duchesne during our locker room availability today, and he said we could have scored 5 or 6 in that game 6 against the Jets. That he felt that they played a really good game, and while it was required overtime to beat them, that they had plenty of chances that they could have potted a bunch more. And knowing that gives them a lot of confidence. Let's talk more about Stars and Oilers as we get closer and closer to tomorrow's Game 1 here on the DLLS Stars Podcast. Don't forget, Lian Bichsel coming up at 2:30.
Just steps away from the AAC is one of the best places to watch sporting events in DFW. If you're headed to the Stars game, there's no better pregame or postgame spot than Happiest Hour. It's literally steps away from the arena. We walked to the arena, or you walked to the studio after we went before one of the games last round. It is an amazing place. Tons of TVs, the ultimate game day destination for any fan. Whether you're going to the game or whether you just want to watch the game, it's an awesome place. Tons of LED screens, packed patios, skyline views, and a whole crowd of Stars fans to ride the highs and lows with, which we know that fans love to do. Bites built for teams. If you're rolling with a crew, Happiest Hour doesn't just do apps. We do team happy-tizers, including the ginormous pretzel that I still am just dying to try out.
I didn't get to eat that.
I haven't
wanted
tried
to
it.
try the dipping sauce.
It is humongous.
I'm a big fan of the spicy brown mustard with a pretzel.
It's the way to do it. Whether it's a weekday or
you
weekend.
Like the cheese, don't you?
Game
Nacho
7
cheese.
or the off-season. Happiest Hour is our favorite spot. Check them out right down the road from the American Airlines Center.
Let's talk about Shady Rays. Yeah, that's a sore spot for Luds. Not the mustard on his shirt or the nacho cheese. It's he doesn't have his Shady Rays. Why? Because he doesn't know how to use Slack. But that's beside the point. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. I have a pair in my car, so at all times the sun pops out, which you know in Texas can change every 10 minutes. I'm prepared, so I'm not blinded. And plus, they're polarized, comfortable, they look great, and it helps block some of that reflecting glare off all the other cars and all this lovely DFW traffic, or wherever you guys are watching the podcast. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company which offers a world-class product, durable frames, crystal clear optics, and of course, perfect for all outdoor adventures. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com, use the code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right. As we continue talking about this Oilers-Stars rematch, Luds, I was looking at some of the narratives coming from Edmonton, and the conversation has been about scoring. Their assessment, some of the writers up there are saying, well, look, Dallas is getting blown out in games they lose, which I don't think is really a fair assessment. There are a couple of 4-0s, but maybe not quite indicative of the game, and then winning close 1-goal games. As you would say, from your extensive playing career and winning, it does not matter how you win. It's just that you win.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have a blueprint, the way that you want to play, because you feel it gives you the best opportunity to win. But every game, every series is different. Like you can fall apart and then you can find a way to put it back. But ultimately, I think you always go back to your roots. However, your coaching staff, your general managers has assembled your group, and how the coaches have you go through their paces all season long. You know, and you think about Edmonton and how they go about their business. We think of Edmonton. Well, I think most times you think about Edmonton as this high-flying, pacey team that can do crazy things. And they've got, you know, and again, besides the 2 guys I mentioned earlier, Evan Bouchard has been on a roll. I mean, the guy can shoot a puck, and so their power play, that's what makes it odd about me. But they don't believe that. Like, this team actually, well, John, do we have the Connor McDavid bit on here? This is what their captain had to say after they finished their final win in the last series.
There's been a natural progression over the last couple of years even. Have you seen that, the way that you guys defend and feel more comfortable defending as a group?
I mean, how many times are we going to answer this question, really? Like, honestly, that's frustrating that we keep talking about this. We can defend. We can. We've showed that time and time again. Come into a tough building, and win a 1-0 game when it matters most. We can play that way. We can score goals. We can, whatever it takes, we can win games. Yeah.
That's coming from a guy in a group that's been to the finals, and they're pissed off because we're not getting the recognition for we're not just one-dimensional anymore.
Yep.
And we've learned, and the management has learned, the coaches have learned, we can't just lean on a couple guys and expect to outscore our mistakes or our goaltending or whatever it may be. So, and just when I first heard that, when it was over with, I'm like, there's a different level of commitment to him, which means there's a different level of commitment to that team, which is why when you opened up about, talking about Skinner, their goaltender, I don't think it fazed them, regardless of who was going to be in the net.
Pickard looked really good against
great.
LA.
Neither one of them had to be incredible, though.
Right.
That's the key.
That's the thing about their
key.
Which is
the way they're
also
defending.
how the Avalanche won their Stanley Cup was. And look, to take nothing away from Darcy Kemper, he did what some other goalies couldn't do, which is lead them to a cup. But you're right. If the team is that dangerous in front of them and can defend, you don't need to have Ed Belfour stand on his head.
Right. Just don't lose the game.
Yeah. Well, and what they've done, like I said, what they've done is they've adjusted their lines, their team, the way they think that we can't, and you can see there's buy-in.
Would you like to go through them and walk us through it?
The what?
You want to walk their lines? Let's go take a look at the Oilers forwards. And we'll go with the D in the next part of this, but what does this say to you when you look at this is how they practiced yesterday up in Edmonton?
Well, when you go through the top line, obviously you got skill. Arnage he's a skilled guy, right? We know about McDavid. Hyman leads their team in hits. He's got 78 hits. Zach Hyman during the regular season, he has 1 hit per game. So, but that just kind of tells you the buy-in. Now, Podkolzin, he's number 2 on their team, and Draisaitl. But what they've done, and look at Draisaitl, look at who he's playing between, and you're going, wait a second, what? And he's the guy that scored the OT goal. Yep. But what they did at least what they did in the last one, is that ended up being their checking line. So now you take Leon Draisaitl, your 50-plus goal scorer every year, and you want me to shut people down? Again, level of commitment. And then you go down the third line. Now here comes Kane. Evander Kane didn't even play a game all season long, but he seems to be healthy, and he brings that edge. He's got that edge out there. You have to know where they are. And that entire line. And then Frederick, they bring him over, right, John? They bring him over, and now there's another piece of meat out there.
And you look at Connor Brown on the right side of the third line, Luds. I thought he really showed his game well in last year's conference final and going on into the Stanley Cup final against Florida, from more than just a bottom 6 role guy, that he could be a excellent penalty killer, but has some offense to contribute.
I mean, I kind of look at this as like how Jim Nill has pieced the team together here. He's gone out and got this piece, that piece, and he went and got Mikko. And the one guy we haven't mentioned that I think they kind of plant a flag around is Corey Perry. Yeah. I mean, and you watch that guy play. I mean, I know he knows Jake, but he's going to get to know Jake really well in this round. And he's that guy, and is he going to take a couple penalties? Yeah, probably. But you're going to find that I don't think he's the spark plug on that team, but everybody in the room would be talking, the coaches will be talking about it. Here's where he's going to go. Here's what we're going to do. The one thing he wants us to do is they want us to take a penalty on him. You're going to have to bite your lip, and he's going to put your glove in your face. He's going to do all this. And
of course,
he
knows at least a third of the roster. That's turned over quite a bit since
he remembers his long walk.
But he knows Jamie Benn. He knows Tyler Seguin. He knows Essa and Miro a little bit.
And what's important about what you're saying is he knows the buttons with those. And and he may go, you know what? But can he get under Jamie's skin? Yeah, I bet he can. And do you think Corey Perry would be willing to take my Mark Scheifele punch to win a hockey game?
Oh, for sure he will.
100% he will. He will. And so, but they know him too. So that he'll be a topic of conversation. Like I said, there's guys you're going to circle on the board. There's guys you don't have to circle because you know who the hell they are, right? There's no secrets about a few of those guys. But there's guys that you remind each other of. Composure, boys. This is composure.
Yeah, and they have, to me, that bottom 6, when you look at it, is legitimately a bottom 6 that is playing above their role.
Yeah.
Right? It's guys that's a mean group of 6 forwards right there. That's Mark maybe a little bit different, but he's a hustler, get in your face in a forecheck, that kind of.
It's going to be
but they're all playing
group.
Yeah, and they're all playing a step up from just being a hardworking group. Like if you look at this lineup, when they're playing their average best, that's a bottom six, a true bottom six. Now the way they're playing and some of the guys that are chipping in offense too, it's not a bottom six anymore, and that's what's dangerous about
And when you say meaningful role, because now they have a role, and they bought into and have it. I think Yanni's always understood his role. You know what I mean? Like I think he's always been that kind of role guy. He understands his role, but that's exactly why all four of these teams are here. I mean, at this stage, is they've got players on their teams that no one except, and as you move from round to round and you're having success as a team. Okay, that's my little piece. That I'm good, because at the end of the road, I'm hoping to have one of these things, and so I can buy in for another 3 weeks.
What about on the blue line for them?
Well, again, I think Darnell Nurse has turned his game around. I think he's been really good. If I see a couple weaknesses, the good news is they know John Klingberg, okay? Yep. And you know what John's good at, and he's a skilled guy.
And I thought he looked pretty good against Vegas.
Great. Yeah. And, he came back. He was this. Then he got a little bit better. Then he went back out again. I thought he was great in that last round, but he's doing Klingberg things.
Yes.
So you have to take that away from him.
It's interesting because both Wallman and Klingberg can move the puck.
Oh yeah, well. But Wallman's flies under the radar here. I mean, that's a good defense.
You're a fan of his.
I love the way that guy plays. He can play physical. He's got a bomb for a shot. Yeah. He gets out there in that second power play, and very much like Bouchard, who has got a bigger bomb for a shot. Hopefully, everybody's willing to get in front of that guy's shot, and that's what you got to go ahead.
I was just going to say, don't forget, Matthias Ekholm skated full
participation. Not going to play.
I don't think games 1 and 2 of.
I don't think he's going to play in Dallas.
Just saying, it's a Miro watch type of situation.
I saw his availability, and he said at the beginning of the injury, they thought it was season ending, that your year's done.
Yeah,
and he said, I've been very surprised to be healing quicker. Now they didn't say what it was.
One player.
Well, it's amazing in the playoffs how you can kind of heal quicker.
Yeah, isn't it?
But you pay for
drugs out there.
You pay for it in the summer, but you heal quicker.
We talked about the Stars going into this round healthier, with Miro looking like he's got a fresh tank and Robo coming back from an injury. What would getting Matthias Ekholm back do for this group?
Well, John, pull that up one more time. What I was going to say, there's a weakness, not a weakness, but if there is a weakness in there, and I'm not taking, I don't mean Klingberg because he's there. Troy Stetcher.
Yeah.
Like, to me, and again, not a bad player. I don't think he's a number 4 defenseman. I think you can take advantage of him. He can move the puck well and things like that, but you can push him out of the fight.
Not a big guy.
No. That's where, to me, if Ekholm comes back, that's where they're going to stick Ekholm back in. Now, all of a sudden, you have that. So I just look at, again, both teams. We could say the same thing, but again, that's what this is supposed to be about. You can look at the depth and you can look at players, and these are 4 teams. I don't know if this is, I don't even know. To me, this is the first time these 4 teams that are here are supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
They're the teams that are supposed to be at this. And here's what I heard.
And there's not a lot of weaknesses there.
So there's a 27% chance. That's the highest percent chance of one of those teams winning the Stanley Cup. You know what the lowest is? 22.
Wow.
That's basically saying, I don't know.
They're all
coin
good.
flip, literally.
I have no idea.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
But
we're going to go right now because we have to talk to Lian Bichsel. Stars rookie joins us next here on DLLS.
Lian gets here. We got a gift for him. Mando. Lian Mando. He's a big man. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. Every aspect. Mando overtly calls out parts of men's bodies such as pits, Sam's.
Just skip
Skip
some of them.
Such as pits, belly buttons, butt cracks, your giblets, beanbag, and grundles.
He didn't skip it.
Their sweet scents are geared towards men, with options like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji. I just want to smell Mount Fuji in the stick. In the deodorant stick. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, clinically proven to block odor all day long. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. Also free shipping. As special for our listeners, new customers get $5 off starter pack. We call it the beanbag starter pack. With all exclusive code. Use code DLLS at shopmando.com.
Is it me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't ready at all.
Empire
today.
40 seconds.
Empire
I can do
today.
Mando again.
Empire today is the best flooring out there as I try to find the read. Empire Today is the best flooring out there. You go to other places, there may be people helping you with flooring today. They were helping you with something completely different the day before. Empire Today floor over in the studio is amazing. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLS. Yes, you heard that right. $350 discount with code DLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DLS for details.
Perfect, Sam. You can never do one better. All right. It's time for us to welcome in a very special guest here on the podcast. It is a brand new 21-year-old 2 days ago. Lian Bichsel joins us. Lian, how you doing today? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Hey, guys.
So let's start with the birthday. You turned 21 2 days ago. And, of course, 2 days ago was Sunday. You got a pretty nice present of getting to celebrate winning the second round over Winnipeg. Was it a big bash, or because you're in the middle of the Stanley Cup playoffs, was it a bit of a reserved party?
Reserved for sure. We're gonna save the big party for later.
Hey, Lian, are you going to keep the fake ID that you've been using, or what do you do now?
I haven't thought about that. It might be a good idea to just keep the fake ID here in Dallas.
The question is it under your real name or is it under somebody else's? Because I had this awful ID that somebody gave me in college. My name was Rodolfo. I don't know if I passes that, but it certainly looked silly. And I don't even know if it worked, Luds. I probably got turned away.
Here's the deal. As big as he is, he's been getting into bars since he's 16.
That's a good point, yeah.
So I don't think you have to worry. Lian, I want to ask you, you guys were playing 11-7, right? 7D. And yeah. I think I talk about it all the time. And from your perspective, can you just tell the fans and the people that are listening the difference in playing with 7 defensemen with 6? I know I try to explain it, but it comes better from a young kid. There's difficulties in that. And then being able to play, with a certain guy, a certain partner.
Yeah, it's challenging for sure. Not just for us, also for Nas to put the right guys out there. And I think overall Nas has been doing a really good job and putting the right guys out there to match their lines in against Winnipeg. But for us players, it's for sure also a different challenge we have. Me and Pats, we didn't play for 5 minutes, and then we had another shift or two, and then we didn't play again, and that's just another challenge we have in the game. To just stay ready at all times, and Libushkin too, and it's not easy, but I mean it's the playoffs. We do everything what's needed to get the win in the end, but it's for sure different to stay ready and staying sharp too. And I mean when you going out there, every puck battle counts, so you have to be ready.
When you played the first game when Miro came back, it was the first 11-7 that this team has done since you've been here, and you had been playing with Petrovic every third shift or so, really in a rhythm. Is that, I mean, you just said you sat for 5 minutes between shifts. You get cold, you're only 21 now. You were 20 at the time, so I'm sure it's easier for you than us old guys here. But, do you still feel that when you haven't played a shift in 5 or 6 minutes?
For sure, yeah. But
maybe more your D partner.
We have those TV breaks, so we can go for a lap then and keep us fresh, and also just staying into the game, talking to the other guys, doing it just tapping their shoulders. Good job. It's also good for us to be engaged in the game, and staying sharp.
Hey, Sam, I want you to ask the next question, but
okay.
I want to say something for Lian that he's not going to say, and they would never say.
Okay,
and I would never either when I was playing.
When you were playing
with 7 defensemen sucks.
Yeah,
it's brutal, and it is. So go ahead, Sam.
Thank you, Luds. Appreciate it.
Thank you for saying what he doesn't want to say. Yeah,
I don't want him to get in trouble.
Yeah,
that's right.
Smart.
I have yet to meet an NHL defenseman or defensive coach that likes it.
Yeah. He's a young guy. He's saying all the right things, but he's thinking
very
but this is a joke, man.
Yeah. Very politely, and we appreciate it.
I only get 12 hits a game when I'm playing every third or fourth shift, man. Let me loose.
Lian, I'll ask you kind of two questions, but I'll start with, since Les just talked about your hits. I think I asked you right when you came into the playoffs that you didn't really feel that much of a big adjustment in terms of intensity, physicality. Take us through that going from regular season to postseason for the first time.
It is more intense for sure. Not just more intense, faster too, but it's also with the atmosphere in the rink. Everything is just included in that. Every hit counts out there. Every puck battle counts. So it feels different to the regular season. But going back, like, my game hasn't changed. I'm doing the same thing as I did in the regular season. Just the difference is the fans are going crazy when I hit the guy, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Do you enjoy it when you hear that reaction?
For sure. It's I think for the whole team, it can be a game changer, it can be a momentum change. But it's really important in the playoffs to get the momentum back. So it for sure can help.
Enjoying it. I was going to say we might as well follow up with you're in the penalty box in Colorado.
Perfect. That was exactly where I was going.
Just take us through the moment. What's going through your head? What's the feeling like here in the crowd cheering?
I didn't really know what was going on. I was sitting in the penalty box, and I saw on the TV, like, my face was still on there, and I didn't know really what to do, and it just came off nowhere, and then the whole arena went crazy, and it was for sure a special feeling. So I was happy in the end we won the series, because you could have gone in the wrong direction.
So, Lian, you've never done that before, or is that the first time you've ever done that?
Back in Europe, I just like to include the fans in the game. What can really help the team, like, as I said, creating that momentum. And I'm a really intense person that loves the game and loves the fans too. I think it's really important to include the fans in the game, and I think it was something special for sure.
Hey, can you mentioned Naz? Can you take us through the relationship? As a young player, how the D coach helped. As a matter of fact, we had his oldest son out with us yesterday. He's back and he's skating with us. But take us through, like, how important that is. I've had a few good ones and I've had a couple bad ones, but the ones that work with you, and kind of walk you through all your games and your shifts and things like that.
When I came to the NHL in December, I started right away working with him next to the ice with video. We watched all my shifts, the good shifts, the bad shifts too, just to learn and getting better in the game. So it has been really good. It has been really helpful, but also it has been really it has been hard work just to adapt to the NHL, coming from the AHL. And I think Nas has been doing a really good job now, not just with me, also with Pets. Now we're together in the playoffs. Just that third pairing has been working really well for us. So I think also a lot of credit going to Nas, just preparing us. He's doing videos still with us now in the playoffs, and but also it's business too. I mean, when we don't play good well, he also tells us to step up and make the next play. And but it has been going both ways. But really, really, really happy to have Nas in the coaching staff.
I want to give you a chance to talk about your D partner, Alexander Petrovic, because you've known him now the whole year. You played with him down in the AHL with the Texas Stars, and then he gets the late season call up, and he's been as steady as you could hope for in this playoff. He did it last year too. And I love the comment that a couple of guys made of, I can't believe he hasn't been in the NHL longer this year with how good he's been. And I know he's been quite a mentor for you on the ice. I'm guessing maybe off the ice as well, but How happy are you to see how much success that Petrovic has had this year, let alone the previous year with the Stars?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy for him too. I mean, I know how hard it is to play in the AHL a full year. I mean, I didn't do a full year, but I got a taste of it the start of the year, and to manage that and staying ready down in the AHL and then coming up to the NHL and being that good of a bring that good of a performance right away in the playoffs. It's yeah, it's something special. And for me as a young kid, it's really helpful to have him next to me. We're doing a lot of extra stuff on the ice. He's yeah, kind of a dad to me, be honest. He helps me wherever I need him. Like, we can talk with each other. We are good friends. He has a amazing family. Like, the kids are great, and it's yeah, just away from last year when I moved here and the start of the season playing the AHL to where we are right now. It's yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to go back to that real quick. You had the opportunity in your contract, I believe it was last year, and you exercised that. I believe it was right around the beginning of December. We're talking about the 23-24 season now, for those that are wondering, not this year. And you went back and played over in Sweden. And I know there was some debate from other people about whether or not that was the right decision. I know you were pretty adamant that for you, that was your path that you wanted to take. And I was just wondering if you would be able to tell everybody why you thought it was, because in the end, that run that you guys made, the sort of very surprising playoff push, had to have been great experience for you. But why was it so important for you to go back and play in Sweden last year when you had the opportunity?
It's there's a lot of reasons. No doubt the AHL coaches, the whole staff down there is doing a great job over the years. Neil Graham has been over 5 years now, have been putting up some really good results. I mean, like Robertson was down there, Harls was down there, Oettinger, like some big names came up, went through that program. And we knew with my management, we had that option to go back to Sweden, play another year there. And I also got to know a little bit the Swedish league. The last 2 years I played there, and it was my third year. And I mean, a lot of big defensemen are coming from the Swedish league. Hedman, a great name. And for me, with the coach we had in Rögle, where I went back to Sweden, I had a really good relationship. I trained there in summer as well, and we had a plan that I could possibly go back. And I choose that way to just work on details. We have a little bit more of time for practicing in Sweden. We don't play as many games. So I took this opportunity to work on my skills, to work on my skating. And I think it worked out well, looking back and where I am right now.
Well, speaking of skating, Lian, I don't think you played in all three. I don't think you were here for the first one. So you've played a couple times against Edmonton this year. Give us your thoughts on going up against the Oilers and a couple guys there, one in particular that can skate.
He knows who you're talking about.
Yeah. Who is that?
Corey Perry.
No, sure.
Hey, Lian, just do me a favor. The first time he gets close to Jake, just drill him one time and just end it, and we'll be done with him for the round.
Good. No, for sure. They have some good skaters on the team. We know what they're good for. They played them last year, and yeah, it's going to be a big challenge. It's all about the gap, being in the right spots in the neutral zone, shutting it down. And we had today a big meeting about them, what they're good for and how can we defend it. and tomorrow is all about us executing and making the plays and being in the right position.
All right, we are running out of time. We could talk to you all day, and I really appreciate you making some time today. But I have to ask about your family. And Luds, one of them is going to be a soccer question, so bear with me.
Please.
Luds he's not a big football fan. In fact, he doesn't even like me using the word football.
I am a football fan.
Yeah, he likes the Packers or the Cowboys, depending on what state he's in. You guys may not know this, but Lian has a couple brothers that play professional sports. Your younger brother, Finn, was just here with Switzerland, correct, for the U18s. And I believe, did your parents come over and you guys all get to watch your brother to play together?
Yeah, they were here for 2 weeks, right in that time, yeah.
Was that nice? I mean, that's not very common when you're here to be able to have your European-based family all here, right?
Yeah, no, it was really special for me. First of all, to see my parents after 8-9 months was good to see them again, and really special to have my little brother here as well, and he's playing for the Swiss national team, and to see him and grow, it's something really special. And for sure also for him to see me up here in the big league, I think was a really special 2 weeks, not just for me, for my whole family.
Now, your older brother, Joel, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly,
It's Yoel.
Well, you could ask him.
I don't know.
He nodded his head like he's wrong.
Is it Yoel?
Joel.
Joel. Okay.
Joel.
So
Okay.
there you go.
Combine
So we're all wrong over here. But he plays for a team in Germany, soccer Luds. Yeah, I know. He's a pretty big boy. I think he's 6'4". He's a big center back.
He's the runt of the family, apparently.
Well, yeah. And I hear, Lian, that he is playing in a promotion relegation playoff to try to move up to the second Bundesliga.
Exactly, yeah. He's playing, I think it's this or next week. They are playing 2 games. The winner of those 2 games is going up to the second Bundesliga, yeah.
Did you ever play soccer growing up? You must have.
I did. I don't know if my teammates will agree on that, on my soccer skills and warm-ups, but I actually did play some soccer, but I don't know how good I am.
That's all right. That's as much soccer as Luds wants to talk about. We're out of time. So many more things we want to talk to you about, but thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It's a pleasure letting some of our viewers get to know you more. Best of luck as you guys play game 1 tomorrow night.
Thanks, Lian.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
Appreciate it. Thank
There's
you.
Lian Bichsel. Boy, what a great young kid. Just 21. We're going to talk more about Stars and Oilers.
Can I just say
next?
No, I'm tired of you giving your
DLLS.
interior decorator to everybody else. Yeah.
John laid out. I thought he was going to go to break.
Luds has to stop talking for me to do that, or else I won't work properly.
See? Now we can go to break.
Oh, and you talked.
Now we can go to break.
Let's talk about DLS being a diehard. You can scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen. That will get you right to our diehard launch page on alldlls.com. What does that do? Well, it allows you to sign up for the top level of support here at DLLS. You get access to all the writing that we do, whether it's Sam here at the Stars, of course, Sean chiming in from time to time, Jeff with the Rangers. We've got Clarence and Joe with the Cowboys, and of course, the great Tim Cato with the Mavs. And there's always something to write about because this is Dallas sports and there's constantly something going on. In addition to that, you can get a free t-shirt signing up for your first year of your annual subscription with DLS Diehard program. You can pick this one perhaps. That's the Modano 16-bit jersey. We have a new one. It's the Wyatt Johnston 16-bit jersey. And of course, the Mikko finisher right next to it. Well, we have others too. How about that Finnish Mafia shirt? Back in stock for pre-sale right now. Get it before it's gone. We have 5 flying Finns on the team right now, and it really is the
golden age of Finnish hockey.
That was a big
Pete DeBoer
We'll talk about that here in the next segment. But get that shirt. Of course, we had the captain shirts we were all wearing yesterday. Sorry, Sean, you didn't get one. And the Moose. Did you guys see on Twitter our diehard Alistair, who's over in the United Kingdom, was wearing his Moose shirt after the Stars clinched the second-round victory? And he posted a picture of it. So
best looking gent in the United Kingdom.
Great looking shirts. And of course, there's others that are available on the All DLS website. Plus, on top of all that, Diehard Discord. Why is that fun? Well, it's chaos. If you like the chat and some of the great people that are part of our show live, just wait till you get to the Discord channel for the Stars. It is off the hook. It's silly. It's fun. It's busy. And every now and then there's some sort of Sam AI video. It usually involves a toilet or a plunger
there
or
not being
both.
a lot lately. That's nice.
Sign up today. Okay. Luds, I have a question before I get to the practice report from Sam, although I did appreciate your interior design joke at the end of the Bichsel interview.
He could get a couple pictures. He ain't going anywhere.
I don't know where he is.
I
wonder if he's at his apartment or if
You
he's
wouldn't
at
be
the
able to
rink.
know.
Yeah,
There's no
way.
hints.
Might be at the rink.
Luds, Allie was in the chat yesterday on the show, and we just didn't have time to ask the question. Said, Oilers fans keep saying that Kings and Vegas were harder/better teams than the Avalanche and Jets. Would love to hear Luds' thought on that.
Harder. I don't know. I think the Kings are a good team. They melted. I mean, it all fell apart.
2.5 games in, I thought they were going to sweep the Oilers.
I think it was their mental capacity left them when there was a challenge and all the other things. That was
the worst.
Because just the way it all goes down, how they recover from all that. I mean, from there, the general manager stepped away. So, I think they're going to be in for some changes. Obviously, now they've got a new general manager, and so they're going to add a couple pieces there. Edmonton, I don't know. I'm telling you, Edmonton is a good team, and but as far as opponents go, I just think that any opponent you have in the West that was going to be a playoff team, they're difficult in their own ways. Yeah. What I felt the problem with LA is they played not to lose. And the way that they played in the neutral zone and in their zone, they didn't do anything up ice, which I hope I have to believe that Dallas has learned from what they saw in that LA series, is that you can't let these guys get wound up and take a whole zone and then try to defend them when they get across the offensive blue line. So I believe that was LA's downfall. As far as the Jets play a hard, structured kind of game. I just don't think they have enough bullets. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're able to figure out which guys you got to try to take care of, and after a while you limit yourself. So, but again, I go off. But this series is to me is almost must watch. The other one's going to be a little bit different. Carolina's going to have speed and things like that. But
I think that's going to be different, but still fascinating.
It's fascinating, and for me, Carolina wins this game tonight, only because of the rest thing. I think, again, you've got a team that went all the way to the finals, and then here they are, and then they got
4 in a row after this,
and then they got to play 4 in a row. Is that what you called?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, but I think especially you get a few days with Rod Brind'Amour, and if you think your players were wired before, they're straight.
Well, look at how Winnipeg looked a little flat in Game 1 against Dallas after that emotional Game 7. Dallas had one more day, but they were better. And then everything ramped up. Yeah. I agree. Florida had to go through, but they've been there before too, right? We played the clip yesterday. Marchand said, it was a Game 7, but that's not pressure. We played Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final after blowing a 3-0 lead. He goes, that's a pressure game.
Well, the Oilers are going to welcome that pressure again.
Oh, yeah.
They will take that for
they have something to prove, and the Stars have something to prove.
Yeah, well, everybody does at this time.
Well, especially the ones that didn't win last year, although Florida doesn't seem like they're wanting to lose anything. Right?
Do it again.
Sam, there was a couple of things that came out of practice today. I think the line usage and who played with who, and also who wasn't necessarily playing, as we try to figure out any signs of how Dallas is going to trot out the first game tomorrow night.
Yeah, we still don't know about 11-7 versus 12-6. But the way they ran today was beautiful. They used the colored sweaters, which made it really easy to figure things out, because otherwise it was very confusing, very different. We saw the top line stay the same with Granlund, Hintz, and Rantanen. But then we actually saw Robertson with Duchesne and Johnston, who was on the wing. I actually thought it was interesting. When I first saw those three together, I thought maybe Duchesne was going to be moved to the right wing to maybe open up that passing that he likes to do down the right side, since he hasn't really been able to do it.
Yeah, but he likes to come in from the middle.
Yeah,
of the
he
ice
wants to be.
He looks like he's going to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting to have those two, because Pete said these are our three centers in the playoffs, is Hintz, Duchesne, Johnston, and now we're seeing that kind of shift a little bit. But the Robertson, Duchesne, Johnston, they're obviously trying to get guys going, as Lud said, so that's the switch up was kind of needed. But then Marchment, Steele, Sagan was the next line, and then Benn, Oscar Beck, and Evgeny Dodonov. So if this is how they do it, like I said, it could be 11-7, and this changes completely. But if this is how they do it, we're going to see Blackwell as a scratch and Oscar Beck come in a little bit. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, they did that at the beginning of the playoffs as well, and then it looked like Beck was a little banged up, and so then Blackwell had a couple of good games. Remember, scored the overtime goal against Colorado. Luds, the defensive side really stood out to me more so than the forward pairings. I know that feels like they're loading up a bit by putting Wyatt with Duchesne and Robertson on that line, especially because now, I mean, look, Sam Steele could play between Sagan and Marchment. It's the fact that it looked like Lyubushkin was the first choice over Petrovic because he was rotating a bit, but when it came down to the important parts of those drills, it was Lyubushkin and Bichsel.
I'm thinking experience, NHL, you know what I mean? I'm being in a lot more games and
penalty
like
killing,
that, and you're getting in that spot. So, and I think Petro can kill, but again, I think that they feel that Lyubushkin probably adds a little bit more goal. I mean, we've seen him jump up the ice a little bit and add a little bit from the back end. But back to what was it? Duchesne, Wyatt? No,
is
Robertson, Duchesne, Johnston,
and who? What'd you
Wyatt.
say? Wyatt. See, there's three guys that got to get each other going. That's the way I look at that. I mean, dude, we just got thrown in a basket here.
Yep,
we got to go get going. So, I just think that let's help each other get out of what we are because you need all three of those guys on the score sheet.
Yeah.
You have to have them on the score sheet.
You know what's funny, Luds? I think you'll enjoy. I didn't even think
anything
about this.
you say. I enjoy.
Well, I just think about it. Well, you don't listen to most of the things I say.
I
but
don't.
This one, I'm looking right at you.
Okay.
Talking to you.
Okay.
Practice was
You lost
actually
him already.
pretty fast paced today.
John, what time is our show start tomorrow?
Practice was fast paced today.
We have 3 minutes left.
And they were going pretty hard, and then that line actually got reamed by Pete.
Stop the drill
to ream at him for not getting up into neutral zone fast enough to break out and go the other way. And I just thought that was interesting because you just said it. Those three guys need to get going. Maybe they're putting them together, and Pete's going to say, get going right now, all three of you together, and I'm not going to take it easy on you.
I think what Pete was probably seeing is that sometimes players think that because they are going for 85 games, 86, whatever it may be, and you just think it's going to happen. Very similar to the start of the season when guys weren't scoring goals, and you just think it's going to happen, and you give them a little rope, and then when you don't see them change or you don't see them do the little things that are supposed to get them going, you have to start barking, and the individual meetings and things like that. But it's now what happens. I've said this before. When you go into a coach's office and you have a meeting about your play and you're by yourself, when you come back out of that to the guys that you spend your life with out there, you can basically tell them what you want.
Yep.
It's as good as or as bad as you want it to be. Very rarely does a player come out there going, man, did I just get reamed? And I'm not going to play all this other kind of stuff. By calling these three guys out in practice in front of your teammates, now you're on notice. And the coaches put you on notice. We need more from you guys.
We have a couple of minutes left. Actually, we have about a minute left. Anything that
I do want to just say to Allie about that last one because I never even addressed Vegas. Vegas is just slow. That team is going to get revamped. I just think they're a slower
and they're
team.
Coming back harder next year for sure.
Yeah.
Anything from Nill, DeBoer, the players that came out for the first standard media press conference this afternoon?
Yeah.
By the way, Edmonton in a couple hours at the Crescent.
Yeah, the main takeaway that I got was that they are treating this like a very different team. We talked about at the beginning of the show. They know this team is deeper. They know it's a bigger challenge. I mean, the rivalry's still there. They want to beat the team that beat them, but they also fully understand they're going to have to be not just better than they were last year, but even better than that because this is a much better team. And then on a less serious note, I thought it was hilarious. Jamie Benn, first of all, just put a mic and put him on a podium because he actually speaks a little bit when he's up there instead of his normal size and
quiet.
What
are you trying to say?
I'm just saying he gave us some good answers and was smiling and all that kind of stuff. But he said, good to see John Klingberg back. Can't wait to run him. Can't wait to try and run him. And Mikko Rantanen out of nowhere says, Esa Lindell cannot cook a steak. Unprompted.
They were talking about food.
It was just
so there was a
great
little
shot at Esa. I love it.
It wasn't a complete non sequitur, but yeah, they're feeling good, Luds, but things get serious pretty fast once the games start, don't they?
It's already serious for these guys when they knew who the opponent was.
Yep.
They know what to expect, and the two guys that basically lead the league all the time and everything, you're on alert playing against these groups. There's not guys aren't going into this series not concerned about their opponent.
It's a big one. The Oilers are in town tonight. The Stars will face them tomorrow. We will have pregame show at 6:15. Luds and I will be here. Sam will be over at American Airlines Center reporting in. Puck drop just after 7. And then, of course, game on Friday and a game in Edmonton on Sunday. We hope you join us for all of it. Big thank you to Lian Bichsel for joining us this afternoon. For Craig Ludwig, for Sam Nestler, for our producer, John Andersen, I'm Owen Newkirk. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for pregame here on DLLS.
Skinner! Video file not found. So we're just going to click finish the old-fashioned way.
See ya.
Goodbye.
What are we doing?